Yeah, well, obviously now the season's over. We've had time to reflect back on everything that's gone on for the last year to 2 years as we've battled COVID. Also looking forward as it relates to roster management and looking into next year. So a lot going on right now. Again, just want to commend our team, our staff, everybody that was a part of our program for getting through this COVID and having a very good season. Obviously, we still have bigger and grander goals, but all things considered, guys gave everything they had, and they always left it all on the field. So again, I just want to commend our players, and now we continue to move forward.
All right. If you have a question, please raise your hand, and we will start with Colin.
Hey, Mark, you mentioned after that Virginia game, this was a good, not great year. I'm just curious now that you've been removed from it a little bit, what's the next step for you guys? Obviously getting to Omaha is the goal, but the next step in taking good years and making them great for y'all.
Well, it's talked about all the time. What you want to do is give yourself the opportunity to get to Omaha. And we did that this year. And so that's the goal every year, is you give yourself the opportunity by hosting a regional or being in a regional, so that if you get hot at the right time, if you get the right breaks, if you have everything in place, then you get to Omaha. And we did that this year, but we didn't break through. And so that's the goal moving forward, is we just continue to give ourselves those opportunities. And then you hope, you win that game by a run instead of losing it by a run. You hope you get that big hit instead of popping up, whatever the case may be. We just need to continue to recruit, develop, nurture this team at a very high level, and just keep knocking on the door and bang it down at some point.
Go to Chandler Mack next.
Hey, Coach, first off, congrats on a good season. Just talk to us about how proud are you of your guys that you guys were able to weather the storm with everything going on with COVID and make it back to the tournament? And then two, if you could give this season a letter grade, what grade would you give it?
Well, I'll leave the letter grades to you guys. That's how you get your clicks. So I'll leave that to you guys. Our job is to just try to win as many games as we can. So I'll leave that to you guys respectfully. Again, I so much respect for our team, our players, our staff, our athletic department. So much went into this year that people know, and so much went into it that people will never know. So much went into it. So our guys never complained. They just did what was necessary through all the protocols, through all the travel. They just did what was necessary. And I think coming off a year where they didn't get to complete a season, and we were 12-4 when last year's season was canceled. And so getting over the original disappointment from that season being canceled, and then going into the fall and all the difficulties and all the challenges that were presented there as it related to team meetings and practices and guys being out for COVID and contact tracing. There were a million things going on, and they endured through all of it. And there were times our guys had to be alienated and quarantined in dorms all by themselves, and things that just went on that people will never really have a total understanding of. Our guys, regardless of what was happening, they always came back. They always came back with a good attitude. And we had, as we mentioned, a pretty darn good season. Still want more, but all things considered, we were right there knocking on the doorstep to Omaha, and that's what we want to do. So yeah, tremendous amount of respect for everybody that was involved.
Go to John Whittle.
Was there anything that was particularly surprising to you that happened over the course of the season in terms of, performance on the field or anything that comes to mind that kind of took you off guard?
I thought we would be a little bit better offensively. I did. I think obviously our pitching was in a really good spot. Defensively, we fielded 976, which is very representative. And at times, I want to have more range and athleticism out there on defense, but I thought our defense was very representative most of the year. And I just, offensively, I thought we would be a little bit better than we were. And so, we'll continue to evaluate that and how we're doing things and always looking to get better there. So I would say that was the biggest surprise. On a pleasant side, though, I mean, you had a Wes Clark that was an All-American and led the country. I think he either led or was very close to leading the country in home runs. Brady Allen continued to develop. Raylan Wimmer continued to develop. Josiah Seitler had the best year of his career on the offensive side. So, and then our pitching was one of the best staffs in the country. So while we're not totally pleased and satisfied with where it ended, there was a lot of progress and a lot of things that went very, very well for us as well.
Well, Michael and Anna.
Hey, Mark. You talked about after the last game how sort of the game has changed with pitching and strikeouts sort of being an epidemic in this game. I know it's a hot topic in Major League Baseball right now too. I'm just kind of curious, how do you sort of envision a modern college offense? How should a lineup kind of look and feel sort of in this day and age, with the way the game is changing? And is that something you guys are still kind of trying to figure out?
Yeah, that's a great question. We're evaluating what we do, but we're also evaluating, what are the trends in the country. You may be surprised to know that Vanderbilt, Ole Miss, Arkansas, and Tennessee all struck out more than we did, which, I didn't really know that until I started to dig deep into it. Strikeouts are a big part of the game. Strikeouts are higher than they've ever been at the major league level. Average is lower than it's ever been at the major league level. And so this is something that needs to be continued to look at. And, the big thing with me is if you're going to strike out like you do in the game, what needed to come along with it for us was a little bit higher on base percentage. And, we had to walk that fine line of being aggressive, but also, are we swinging too much? And that's something we kind of bounced back and forth throughout the year. We didn't want to fall behind in the count, but sometimes when you're over aggressive, then you put balls in play and your on base percentage goes down because you don't hit, maybe you're swinging at some balls that weren't actually hitters' pitches. So that's something we'll continue to evaluate as the modern game demands. And as it relates to, what does a modern offense look like? I think if you look at the teams that are in Omaha right now, you're seeing guys, you're seeing offense that have a pretty good level of athleticism. They can score in more than one way. Power is a great thing, but power can't be the only thing. You've got to have a lot of guys in that lineup that just give you good, tough, grinded out at bats. And you look at Vanderbilt, that's what they do. Mississippi State, that's what they do. NC State has a lot of power, but they also grind out the at bats. So I think if you look at a lot of those teams, that's what you're seeing. And I think with strikeouts being as high as they are, and it'll be interesting to see if that continues. Obviously, Major League Baseball, one of the hot topics right now is what pitchers are doing to try to get the high spin rates, and that's a topic that's pretty popular for people to look at and follow right now. So it'll be interesting to see at the big league level how that's affected. So everything that happens in the big leagues always seems to filter down to the amateur levels as well. So that'll be something that we're looking at. And at the end of the day, I think what you need is as many good line drive hitters that give you good at bats as you can find. And then you teach them how to drive the ball better, which turns into home runs and doubles, and you get them a lot stronger in the weight room. I think in an ideal situation, that's how you're building it.
And just to follow up on that, you talking about some of those kinds of hitters and the athleticism and all of that. Immediately, I think about Braylon Wimmer and Brennan Malone and some of those guys and some of the things that they've flashed and tools that they have. Just what do you think about their development this past season, and what do you kind of hope for out of them and some of the newer pieces that you're bringing in next year offensively?
Yeah, I think Wimmer's development has been very steady. He had 27 extra base hits this year. And that's a guy that last year was in and out of the lineup. So he took a really good step this year. And as you mentioned, he's as athletic as it gets. He runs a 6'5" in the 60, has great range out there at second base, has speed, has power. So yeah, I would say, and five tools have always been a part of the game, and scouts and coaches have always looked for five tools. And you can say that he has the five tools that you're looking for. And Brennan Malone at the end of the year was one of our best hitters. Statistically, he was getting on base more than anybody else in our lineup. And I think he really started to find himself there towards the end. It was unfortunate that he got hurt at Kentucky. But I'd say the last third of the season, and the stats bear this out, he was one of our most consistent hitters, and he was really starting to find himself. So I think that's very encouraging as we move forward.
Go to Rick Henry next.
Hey, Mark, good to see you. You just listed some of the things that made this season so challenging for everyone. How important is it for you and the entire team to give yourself some time to decompress and just get away from everything, maybe a little bit, just recharge? Or in your case, is it, do you have, once one season ends, do you just boom, right into planning for the next season? And it's just very hard maybe to do that for yourself.
Yeah, I think decompressing sounds great in a vacuum, but we just don't have that luxury to do that. It's recruiting now. It's bringing guys into campus now that the NCAA has relaxed the dead period, and now we are into a recruiting phase. We've had guys on campus visiting already. We've been off campus recruiting. Our two assistants, Couch and Mead and myself, have all been off campus recruiting already. As much as you'd love to say, hey, it's time to take a week off and decompress, we just don't have that luxury yet. We might be able to find a couple of days here and there, but it's right back at it. It's just the way it is. It's what the job is. So we want to be the best, and so we just have to continue to work in that fashion, and that's what the game demands. Just the way our calendar is set up, you go right from the season right into recruiting for the summer, managing the draft. The draft is in about 3.5 weeks. So that's something we're monitoring very closely right now. So it's a great job. It's a challenging job, and there's always something to be done.
Colin?
Two questions. First, you mentioned the draft. How confident are you you'll be able to keep a lot of this 2021 class intact and survive that 2020 draft or 2021 draft?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you just never know till the draft happens. I think we're in a good place. We've got a lot of guys on our team that it could go either way, and we've got our share of recruits that could go either way. So all we can do is try to present, what we think are the benefits of coming to college. The guys have to make the decisions that they feel are best for them and their family, and they'll do that. So we support our guys whichever way they go. Oftentimes, the best option is if you're getting 7 figures, you need to head off to pro baseball. Oftentimes, if you don't get that, then the education and the environment and the experience and the growth is better at this level. So each guy is different, and I think when the dust settles, I think we'll be in a good spot.
You guys could potentially lose a lot from this pitching staff innings wise. How confident are you that you'll be able to, with the guys returning and then the guys you're bringing in with this class, be able to at least maintain what you guys were last year, which was really good, or even take a step forward?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think that we're at a level now where we should be able to replace the guys that may go out with guys that can do the same things. With Skylar as our pitching coach and with the recruiting, Farr and Jordan came in, and the disappointing part is we only got to see them really pitch for 1 year for us, where with last year being missed, these guys were only got to pitch for us, and our fans only got to appreciate them for the 1 year. So they'll probably move on, but they were JUCO guys that came in as not really known guys, and they made a name for themselves in this program. And so the next wave of guys will do the same thing.
Go to Cam Gaston.
Hey, Coach, don't mean to keep harping on the offense, but as you go into this offseason, you talked about the strikeouts being the big thing that plagued you guys. When you look at that as a coaching staff, how are you going to try to address that this fall? Is it an approach thing, a pitch recognition thing? What are some of the things that you guys are going to try to key on to get that issue fixed next year?
All the above. It's all the above. I've already met with Stuart Lake, our hitting coach, and we talked through things. What did we do? What adjustments could have been made? Everything. So there's not one secret pill you take and all of a sudden everybody's a 380 hitter with a 450 on base percentage. It's everything. It's how you practice. It's how you look at video. We'll continue to evaluate everything we do. He's been doing it a long time. I've been doing it a long time. But you also need to understand, as we move forward, there are always adjustments to be made. Hitters always need to make adjustments. Coaches always need to make adjustments. And we'll continue to look at and tweak things that we think need to be tweaked in all those areas you mentioned.
Go to John Whittle.
Yeah, that really goes kind of right into my question. Have y'all identified some things yet that y'all want to do a little bit differently in order to become a little bit better from an approach standpoint, training standpoint, what have you?
Yeah, we've started to talk, but obviously, we're gonna let it breathe a little bit. we're going to take all summer to really put things together and understand what we think are the absolutes that need to continue and where we can make some adjustments. It doesn't happen in a day. We're going to brainstorm. We already have started to brainstorm. And when all is said and done, we'll whatever needs to be improved will be improved.
Colin?
Two more for you. Just with obviously the free one-time transfer thing, how important will that transfer portal be for you guys going not from JUCO to SEC now, but from other D1 programs to South Carolina? How important will that be for y'all this offseason?
I think it'll play a factor for us, but for everybody. Most schools will have guys going into the portal and guys coming out of the portal back to them. It's just the way in all sports right now. The transfer portal is in the conversation, and so there's a lot of reasons why guys go into the portal. There's a lot of reasons why guys come to your school from the portal. It's just like hitting everybody's is an individual case, but we'll evaluate it. And if there are guys in there that we think can move the needle for us and help us, then we'll explore it. If not, then we won't. But that's obviously going to be another piece of the puzzle in trying to improve rosters all around the country.
How's Alec Boychuk doing coming off that rehab?
Yeah, he's doing well. He's doing well, and he'll be back at full strength pretty early in the fall. So it's like having him, and he's a member of this new recruiting class since he didn't get to do anything for us this year. So that's just another bonus, and looking at him as a new member of the team as in this recruiting class since he didn't get to play because of that injury last year.
John?
Have any of these seniors that have maybe graduated expressed to you that they'd like to come back? Eister, Gilreath, Coyne, Tringali, some of those kind of guys.
Yeah, we've had those conversations already, and at this point, they're all planning on coming back. Obviously, things can change, but at this point, they all have expressed an interest in continuing to play.